Howdy folks, welcome back to Moondockery. Today's video is going to be focusing on my camouflaging these pristine white PVC cache containers that I made. The video I just posted shows you step by step on how to do this if you're interested in doing this yourself. And today I'm going to make certain that they blend a little more easily in a woodland environment. In my last video I showed step by step how to build your own do-it-yourself PVC cache containers. As part of that process, you have to sand the interior of the fittings and the exterior of the PVC pipe where you'll be applying your primer and your PVC cement. Knowing that I was going to be spray painting these, I went ahead and I sanded the entire surface inside and out of the fittings and the entire exterior of the PVC pipe. When I was finished, dry cloth wiped off most of the dust, but before I paint it, I'm going to make certain that it is completely clean and free of any dust and debris. And I'll be using 91% alcohol. This, you can very easily use things that are a little bit better to prep the things you're painting with, like acetone. Acetone is a great prep, but it is highly volatile and it goes to vapor very, very rapidly. I'm going to be doing this in my garage, and this vapor is going to dissipate very quickly and it's not going to harm me like acetone can. I'm going to go ahead and show you how I wipe this down, get everything prepped, then we'll be ready to start painting. This portion of the project, the prepping the surface for the paint, super easy, goes very rapidly. Get a and I prefer to use a lint-free rag to wipe mine down, because if you are trying to get all the debris, the dust, any of the particles off of there before you paint, if you're using just your regular rag or paper towels, that is going to leave little particles of the towel or whatever you're wiping it up with on there, and it's going to affect the quality of your paint job. And that is all there is to that. This has been completely wiped down now. I'm going to wipe down the other ones and then get my paint ready, and then we'll go to the next step. Now, even though I'm going to be using flat camouflage spray paint to paint my containers with, the rounded nature of these containers is going to produce some reflective qualities simply because of the shape. So I decided I'm going to try something I've never tried before, and I'm going to apply a coating of rust-oleum truck bed coating. This is textured, so it should help break up a little bit of that flat surface quality, and will also provide a minuscule amount of protection to the containers as well. I'm going to go ahead and show you the paints I'm going to be using to paint the containers, then I'll get things set up and we'll get to it. All of these paints are very easy to come by, most of which you can find at your local Walmart or local hardware store. I purchased all of these items from Rural King. And I've got my black truck bed coating. I've got the tan rust-oleum camouflage paint, the light green, the dark green, the dark brown, and they carry this brand of spray paint at Rural King. I've never seen it anyplace else. The brand is called Magic, and this is a lighter brown than the dark brown, which should break things up a little bit and just provide more of a color palette to the camouflage scheme that I'm going to be doing on these. Now, the camouflage scheme I'm going to be using is going to be fairly crude. The reason being is one of the containers will probably wind up being buried, and the others will be hidden in an area to where I'm going to be using natural foliage to put around it, on top of it, to break up the silhouette and to just make it much more concealed. If you are interested in more detailed types of camouflage schemes and techniques on which you can apply those schemes, I do have a video. It's a do-it-yourself multicam-esque spray painting video that I simply camouflaged a Nalgene bottle with a multicam-esque color scheme. That technique can be used in any color scheme you want and pretty much any pattern you want, just by changing the shapes of the masking tape that you apply to it during the process. I have to do this in my backyard, so you're going to get a lot of road sounds. You're probably going to hear some chickens, but it's the best I can do. I've assembled a contraption here with a 40-year-old Black & Decker workmate, and I've got some 2x4s wedged in here, and I'm supporting the cache containers. I have attached a pistol grip trigger mechanism that you can pick up at almost any hardware store now. This one's, just happens to be rust-oleum brand. It's made a little bit better than some of the others. But if you do any spray painting whatsoever, this is an absolute blessing. The finger fatigue is almost non-existent. So I'm going to go ahead and start putting a good coat on these. And this is the textured truck bed coating. It seems to be going quite well. And they recommend you put 2 coats on and allow 1 to 2 minutes of dry time between coats. I'll go ahead and finish these up and let it dry, put the other coat on, and I'll bring them in closer once they're dry to the camera so you can see the texture change between them before they were coated and after. Well, both coats have been applied and it's dry to the touch. I'm not proud of this paint job. I had quite a few runs, but it's a little breezy out here, and until I get a proper painting booth, this is the way I'm going to have to do things. I'll bring this a little closer, let it focus in. Hopefully it will, so you can see that it has a nice texture. With the light right now, it is a little reflective. It glistens almost a little bit, but hopefully the flat camouflage spray paint will take care of that. And we'll see what happens. Now, the way I'm going to go about doing this is I'm just going to apply just swaths of different colors of the spray paint to get everything basically base coated. And once I've done that, then I've cut some stencils that I'm going to use some different colors of spray paint with to sort of add some defined lines, but also allow that to overspray and bleed into other colors, just to break it up just a little bit more. Now I cut a couple stencils. I'm just simply going to hold close to it and zap it real close to the edge here, just to get some hard lines, and a little bit of the overspray will go on there. This technique is not precision. It's just designed to where it's going to make it more subdued and break up the surface just a little bit. Once I go through and I do some of these in different ways, then I'll come back and I'll do some smaller ones for the dark and the extreme light. Well, this is how it looks so far, and the next step is I'm using these two smaller templates to create very, very light dots through it and very, very dark dots through it. Now I'm going to use a small hole template to make dark spots first. Not very many of them. Now I'm going to use this template here with some light tan to make some light spots on here. This is what it looks like with all the base painting done. Again, it's very crude, it's not very precise, but as far as breaking these cylinders up in a woodland environment, this will definitely work well enough. Well folks, here you have it. Another quick and easy, very crude way of camouflaging your cache containers, or anything else you really want to camouflage for that matter. But hopefully you found this information useful, and you might be able to give it a chance to give it a try yourself. Well folks, as always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Howdy folks, welcome back to Moondockery. Today's video is going to be these pristine white PVC cache containers that I made in the last video. And while I was doing that, in order to prep all of the now I've wiped this down with a dry cloth just to get some of the big dust off. Get your clean rag. This type of shop towel is lint free, and you definitely want that because you that alcohol got a little excited. The rounded nature of this container is blah, 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 blah. Now I've constructed a contraption blah, blah, blah. Well folks, here you have it. A very crude, quick, and easy way to camouflage your cache containers. Well folks, I hope you found this useful. Thought you might find